Bella Swan still like Edward? Would she have stayed with Edward if she read Midnight Sun? This came up a couple times, and I think there's two different answers depending on what exactly we're asking. So Midnight Sun is Twilight, the first book, from Dust Clown's perspective, and is absolutely obscene. He is so maniacal, voyeuristic. It demonstrates so clearly how the Cullens do not care about humans. It is truly Joe Goldberg's memoir. It details how lowly Edward thinks of his classmates, how old he really is and how he views them as children, how he didn't even find Bella attractive and endangered her and stalked her several times, forcing proximity with her when he knew there was a very good chance that he might unalive her. And he continues to do this and thinks nothing much of Bella until he realizes he can't read her mind and becomes obsessed, and then projects his ideal woman onto her, and in combination with that spicy blood, that's what we get. I talk about it all the time. It's absolutely insane. But this question comes from an earlier discussion we had in which we were talking about if Bella read Twilight, would she like it, and would she be Team Edward or Team Jacob? And I said that I think initially she would like them both. She would definitely love Jacob, and I think just because of the way she likes to read romance novels, and depending on how old she was, she would initially like Edward as well. But I think eventually she would come to prefer Jacob much more, because Jacob is the kind of person that she genuinely actually likes, and Edward and Alice, etc., are not the kind of people that Bella would even talk to, let alone like, if they weren't vampires. So if we're talking about like this scenario, Bella as an outsider is reading Midnight Sun, does she still like Edward as like a fictional boyfriend or love interest after Midnight Sun? Honestly, no, I don't think so. I think that she would have some level of awareness that she's reading Joe Goldberg's memoir. I do think on some level she'd be able to see, depending on how old she was, again, like what a maniacal elitist voyeur he is and how insane it is. And I don't think that she would like the Cullens and their priorities and behavior and lifestyle. I think she would come to like Jacob more after Midnight Sun and find him very relatable and identifiable and sweet. So like as an outsider, depending on how old she was, if she was very young, maybe she would still get into it, but I think she might be able to see something. Now, if we're talking about in-story Bella, like the Bella we know as written, who has already been pursued by Edward, like Bella reading this as something her boyfriend Edward has written, she would unfortunately find a million ways to justify everything in this book and gaslight herself into thinking that the 700 pages in this twisted villainous clown's head is the most romantic piece of writing to ever exist, and Shakespeare has nothing on her man. Simply because she is so brainwashed, dazzled, entranced by Edward and the Cullens and everything they do, that although several things would and should raise major flags in this book, she would immediately forgive them, because that's simply what Bella as written does with Edward and the Cullens and anything they ever do. Edward can and has told Bella to her face, I want to unalive you, and she'll say, it doesn't matter, it's only natural, why don't you guys just cheat and eat people? And hey, like if I have to become a soulless monster to be with you, and that means I might unalive my family or something, that's worth it. As much as it pains me to say it, Bella would read every word of this and everything about Edward and his morally corrupt family and the horrifying dynamics of their relationship, and it would only serve to make her more insecure about herself and, oh, like I really am so unworthy of him. But she would write it all away. It's romantic, and I'm unworthy of him, and then she just forget about it, ignore it, whatever, much like his stans do with this book. Like, they were so looking forward to defending him with this. Meanwhile, it made him completely indefensible, and they still try to defend him with it, and that's exactly what poor Bella would do.